about a serious issue that has been plaguing our communities, not just here in Queens and New York, but quite frankly, all throughout the country. This issue of mail theft is something that our office and the NYPD and the Postal Inspector have been constantly hearing about. You know, there have been over 600 cases reported this year just in my congressional district alone. And those are just the cases that we have heard about. And these types of theft can range from anything from personal correspondence like letters to holiday cards and birthday cards, but also in stealing checks. There have been cases I'm sure you've heard about, like check washing, where the thieves will erase the recipient on the check and put their own name in or their own entity and literally cash the money, cash the check, and put it into their own bank accounts. We've had increased incidents related to growing identity theft because people have been stealing mail that contains personal credit card information, to tax forms, to anything that may have sensitive personal information on it, and using it to commit identity theft. This is an issue that has been going on for a while, and we work very closely with the U.S. Postal Service and the NYPD. If you remember in 2018, for example, we had a lot of cases where people were literally fishing the mail out of the mailboxes. They used to have the flap or the pull flap. So we worked closely with the Postal Service, and we were really grateful that in 2018 they replaced all of the blue mailboxes in my congressional district and in other parts of the country with what is now a slot. So it is harder to take money out of the blue boxes, and a lot of the slots also now have the metal teeth on it, so people cannot take anything out. So we're grateful for the Postal Service for making those necessary changes. However, these thieves are getting smarter and they are getting more creative, and now they are heading straight for the hunter green boxes that people may see in their neighborhoods, which are called relay boxes. Now, this is something where we have seen, and our officers and inspector can talk more about it, but this is still going on in different ways now in our communities. So I'm really grateful today for the Postal Inspection Service for all their tremendous work on getting the word out. We are grateful because they recently announced a joint Project Safe Delivery program where there will be about 49,000 new electronic locks that will be replacing antiquated locks that are currently being used. Now that's for the whole country. We have asked them to prioritize Queens, New York City, as they replace those antiquated locks. I'm also working on a piece of legislation with my New York colleague, Congresswoman Nicole Maliotakis from Staten Island and Brooklyn. We are working to give the U.S. Postal Service more subpoena authority. Basically, a lot of the crimes that have been happening are part of a larger organized crime syndicate, and the Postal Service's authority to subpoena and to get more information to find these culprits is very limited. So we're trying to push this bill to give the Postal Service more subpoena authority. Today we are very grateful for our experts who are here today. The Assistant Inspector in charge of the New York Division of the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, long title, John Del Giudice, and Deputy Inspector Kevin Coleman, who you all know, the commanding officer of our very own 104th Precinct. We're here in Maspeth, within the confines of the 104th, because this is where a major arrest was recently made in connection with mail theft. In late June, postal inspectors busted two people about a mile down the street on 60th Road and Mount Olivet Crescent for allegedly stealing mail in that area. We applaud this arrest and again thank our law enforcement for their tremendous efforts. I'll now turn the program over to Assistant Inspector John Giudice. Thank you for being here.
mission of the United States Postal Inspection Service is to safeguard the U.S. mail, its employees, and customers from criminal misuse of the U.S. mail. As incidents of postal crime have increased over the past years, the Postal Inspection Service continues to expand its efforts to identify and capture criminals. In 2017, postal inspectors started to see an increase in mail theft in New York. We increased our investigative resources and focused on strengthening partnerships with NYPD and state and federal prosecutors. We knew we could not arrest our way out of this problem without addressing security and instituting crime prevention efforts. Our next step was working with the Postal Service engineers to develop a high security collection box to prevent malfunction. You see some of these to my right here. Postal management in New York invested over $1.2 million to purchase and install high security collection boxes seen now in most New York neighborhoods. These boxes have a slim opening and other enhanced security features to make it difficult to fish mail in the boxes. At the same time, Postal Inspection Service personnel distributed prevention messaging to the public through social media and neighborhood presentations. You see some of that out here today. We also have some cards for you folks to take. In May of this year, the United States Postal Inspection Service and the United States Postal Service launched an expanded Project Safe Delivery. This is a campaign to combat postal crime, prevent attacks on letter carriers, and overall protect your mail. Some of the highlights of this campaign include hardening physical targets against criminal activity. And what does that mean? We're installing 12,000 high-security food collection boxes nationwide. These are upgrades to the boxes you see here. The Postal Service is hardening these food collection boxes, making access to their contents more difficult for criminals. These boxes are now being deployed in high-security risk areas throughout the next fiscal year. The Postal Service will continue to evaluate replacing additional existing food collection boxes with these enhanced boxes. We're also replacing 49,000 antiquated arrow locks on collection boxes with new electronic locks. There's been an increase in letter carrier robberies nationwide where criminals are targeting letter carriers for their arrow keys. Criminals use these arrow keys to steal mail from secure receptacles to commit financial crimes, including altering checks and commit check fraud. To make arrow keys less valuable for criminals, the Postal Service is replacing 49,000 antiquated arrow locks with electronic locks. These new locks have been installed in select cities, with installation to occur in additional major metropolitan areas soon. The Postal Service and the Postal Inspection Service are also increasing arrow key accountability reviews in select high postal crime areas. We're also sharing intelligence and trends in mail. The Postal Inspection Service will continue to partner with federal, state, and local authorities to enforce the laws and bring criminals to justice. I can't underscore how important the partnership with NYPD is in that regard. The Postal Service and Postal Inspection Service will continue to adapt to evolving security threats and implement expanded measures to safeguard postal employees and preserve the security of the mail that Postal Service customers expect and deserve. Additionally, the Postal Inspection Service continues to offer these tips to customers to protect their mail and packages, including: don't let incoming or outgoing mail sit in your mailbox. You can significantly reduce the chance of being victimized by simply removing your mail from your mailbox every day. Deposit outgoing mail through a number of secure manners, including inside your post office, or at your place of business, or by handing it to a letter carrier. Sign up for Informed Delivery and get daily digest emails that preview your mail and packages scheduled to arrive soon. If you witness someone going into a collection box or mail delivery receptacle during non-postal work hours, contact your local police, call 911, and then notify postal inspectors at the following number: 877-876-2455. And report stolen mail as soon as possible by submitting an online complaint to the Postal Inspection Service at www.uspis.gov/report or by calling 877-876-2455. These initiatives show our continued commitment to protecting the mail, and they've been effective. We've made over 1,000 mail theft arrests since 2017. We will continue to do everything in our power to ensure the safety of the U.S. mail by stopping these criminals who attack our nation's mail system. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Inspector. Next, we will hear from someone who is no stranger to our community, our Inspector Coleman, whose men and women of the 104th Precinct have been working tirelessly on so many issues, but truly have borne the brunt of a lot of these complaints and reports. So thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman. I would just like to point out a few crime prevention tips. One is, if you're going to drop off your mail, we recommend dropping it off directly to the post office. If you do use a mailbox, then we recommend you drop it off as close as possible to the scheduled pickup time. So for example, if the pickup time is 10 a.m., then we recommend drop your mail off at that mailbox at 9:45 a.m. And finally, if you're writing a check that you're going to send in the mail, use a permanent ink pen, like a gel pen, which is much more difficult for a would-be criminal to wash the check and change the name or the amount. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. If anyone has any questions.
Representative May, I have a question.